What's going on, Phytech? Ladies and gentlemen out there in the world of fuel injection. This is Doug Cataline. As I said, I'm from Oklahoma City. I've been talking with Bryce and Jeremy for almost coming up on 5 years now about the Phytech setup. I started out with a 4 barrel 600 HP unit I bought used from a gentleman in Guthrie, Oklahoma at a car show. He said he was sick of it. He's like, I'm going to get rid of it and put my quick fuel carburetor back on. I said, well, call me if you want to get rid of it. So I bought his used 400 or a 600 horsepower 4 barrel unit for $350. I put it on this green machine you see here, and it ran like shit. I called Bryce and the boys. I said, hey, man, I'm going to pull this back off, send it to you, just run through it and tell me what it needs, what's going on. Because I literally ran a tank of gas through this engine, pretty much sitting in the garage. One loop around the lake that I live by, and it just ran like crap. So, hey, sent it back to me and said, hey, Doug, just here, put this new O2 sensor in and fire it up. Well, I had a couple bumps and grinds there. Had a bad handheld wire unit I need to get replaced, and the handheld went bad. So either way, I put it on and it ran like a champ. So good that I felt comfortable driving it 9 hours from Oklahoma City to Red River, New Mexico to meet a couple buddies out there. And it ran like a rape tape pretty much until I got there. And then I had some issues, and it was none of the fault of the Phytech machine at all. It was my engine. This engine here it's a 414 stroker 360 I built about 20 years ago, and the intake manifold gasket said, hey, you know what? I'm done, so I'm going to start leaking oil straight in the number 6 cylinder. So needless to say, I got it home and pulled the intake, and there it was, man, just a big old log jam of leaking. So I'll say the number one tip for me to you all out there just installing this or wondering why it runs like good or bad or shitty or have issues is double check everything you got going on right now. If you have a little Edelbrock on there, a little Holly carburetor, a little fuel toilet bowl as I call it, flush away, but double check your stuff before you put this on there, because you're going to get into an endeavor that you're going to wonder, hey, what the hell did I do? This is a simple system. My driveway right over there's a 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I've owned it for almost 27 years, I guess. And it's a simple OBD1 system. And I think this Phytech system is similar to that. Bryce, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's simple. It's more programmable. So I'll say get your bugs worked out of your system now. Make sure you have good 12 plus volts coming out of wherever you plug wire this wire to. There's basically 4 wires to this system plus your O2 sensor. So be sure everything is good. Even with this new 6-pack system I set up on there, I still had issues. I want to pull my whole ignition switch out the other day, and it fires off great now, and it works like a champ. So I'll say I like the 400 system with the, or the 600 system 4 barrel system for this car. It worked like a champ. But I saw this in, I guess it was SEMA in October, November of 2017. I saw Bryce, saw Jeremy. I said, I got to have it. I ordered it. It went back order 7 months, but I got it. And lo and behold, of course, you got to change the intake manifold, which I couldn't find one, and I got one. Put it on there. It's a single plane mod man for the Mopar guys out there. You know what that is. You could interchange the plates. I wanted a stock 6-pack intake manifold for a small block Mopar, but I couldn't find one. So I put this on there. Lo and behold, I got one. It's in my closet now. If I decide to pull it off someday, I will. Meanwhile, this thing is installed, and I had a business trip out to Long Beach, California. I drove down to the Riverside, talked to Bryce, talked to Jeremy, say, hey, this is crazy Doug Cataline out in Oklahoma City, and I got your shit on my car, and what can I expect? And I told him I had a single plane intake manifold, and he says, I got to get you a wire harness. So he got me a wire harness, shipped it to me. It basically reprograms the I guess the spray pattern or what injector spray where. So instead of, I'm guessing, front, back, middle, I guess it maybe sprays on an angle, maybe like the number 1 cylinder, number 8 cylinder. I don't know. But whatever it was a super easy plug and play wire harness. And thus far, I say, the biggest four-letter word I'll probably say on this video, it's working pretty good. Um, you know, basic install is just that. I'm running an inline pump on this system with my stock pickup tube on this Plymouth Barracuda. So there's a supply and a return line, and the return line's a 5/16, the supply line's a 3/8. It's a stock tank, and I just used and I paid strict attention to exactly what they said on the pump. Like, you know, clamp on this hose here and put it to the pump, and then send it up there. Well, I'll tell you what, they give you 2 filters. I did install the pre-filter. I just didn't have enough room to do it. So I'll say I recommend installing both filters, but currently I just have one on there because I just wanted to get the son of a bitch running, and it is. So I'm happy. I've got another, the other smaller filter on here. I think it's a smaller micron filter, maybe. It's kind of tucked up under there. You can barely see it underneath that gauge there, along with the fuel regulator and the computer here. Well, once again, this is the Tri-Power 6-pack setup. Couple issues I ran into. I said, hey, what kind of throttle cable I'm going to use? Well, I used the stock low car automatic transmission throttle bracket system on this with the cables, and it works great. This is a 727 going to a small block Mopar. I mean, if it's Ford, if it's Chevy, it's going to be basically the same, except I had to modify the bracket to make it work on this one because it's a 6-pack and it's a little different. So get ready to do a little bit of that if you need to. I mean, I'll pull the air cleaner off and let you see it here in a little bit, but for now, it's just slightly modified and it works. And I'm semi-happy with it. Something else, this Phytech had a display down in the Good Guys car show. If you could see underneath there's some black fittings and black AN fittings and whatnot. Well, that goes to the 3 2-barrel throttle bodies that are under there. That was on display. Somebody at Phytech had made it just for a display model. I said, hey Bryce, I want to buy that, and they sold it to me. That's one little bump in the road I alleviated from in this installation. So you know, be ready for some fabrication. You know, any hot rodder knows you got to cut and grind some stuff and make it fit, make it work. I hope someday they'll have something ready, literally ready to run. Distributor. All right, so I'm running an MSD Pro Billet distributor on this car. I am not controlling timing with it. I'm comfortable with getting the performance I have out of it right now. You can, but I just don't want to. So I have the rotor to adjust it and to set, you know, I guess you lock it out, lock the distributor out. I have not done that yet. I've got the MSD Pro Billet distributor along with the MSD ignition, and there's the MSD ignition down there. So it's a digital 6AL. The other one I had on there was an older 20-plus-year-old version. It was great, it worked fine, but I just didn't want to mess with any issues wiring-wise outside what I already had. So I put a new ignition module on there, the MSD 6AL, and a brand new Pro Billet distributor. Put the, the light springs and the black bushing in there, and your money. It's full advance by 2000, and it works like a champ. This is a 414 small block Mopar. It runs like a raped ape. It's got plenty of torque. It's not a racing machine. It's a street cruiser, man. I'll burn them down if I need to, but I don't need to get that specific on the timing. It's just perfect for me. Okay, no electric fan, mechanical, as you can see. Mechanical fan. I've got an AC plan. I'm going to put AC back on this with another serpentine belt system. But for now, this works like a champ. What else can I say? Hey, you know, wiring is everything. Make sure you wire and solder everything and triple check everything. I've taken the, the ignition wire, the coil, this is the signal wire, and you may double insulate that thing. Make sure it's not by any ignition wires. Make sure the ground that comes off the ECU over here, this is your little ECU for the 6-pack system. I ran it all the way up under here and all the way down. This is a ground wire. It goes straight to my battery. They highly recommend that. So I did that. Instead of just put it on a body ground, I put it to the battery. And it seems to work right now. I haven't adjusted much. The only thing I can see I know I have an issue with is cold starting. I have to cycle the switch probably 4 times to get it to start right now when it's cold. Once it's warmed up, it seems to be firing off pretty quick and very reliably. So, you got your fuel plumbing. It's very basic. It comes with a kit. So you got your fuel lines up here. Run 2 filters if you can. Like I said, I'm running 1 right now. And I just think, it needs 2, of course. It needs 1 before the pump and then after the pump. So run this, run the same regulator I'm running. It's kind of a cool aeromotive system there. Bypass right back to the factory supply line. Let's see. I got the oxygen sensors plumbed in. I just plumbed it in with the kit they have. I drilled a hole and put the little gasket kit on there, and it's working fine. I'll eventually go to the muffler shop and have them weld a bung in there. I'll do my own shop, but for now I'm just running with what I got. Temp sensors there, as you can see on the right, just right down there. And what else? So we started to see if it'll start. If it starts, I'll be really pleased to show you guys that it does run and drive. I did wire a it's not a kill switch, it's just a hard switch, so I know I have true 12 volts into the system. Don't mind that, it's just a little old super Bert. Yeah, let's see what we got here. And then I always have to plug this son of a gun in. I do this, and the wire is shitty. That thing is crap. I don't know. I'm gonna get the new setup on it, see if it works. So let's see if I'll turn her over and fire off for you. There you go. It's 6 barrels of fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's better than a 6-pack? I guess a 12-pack. It's idling fine. Pretty responsive throttle. I'll tell you, the other day I came out of a Cars and Coffee gig. You hear that surging? Yeah, there was a little bit of surging going on, and the coffee and cars thing, I pulled out of there and I kind of hammered on it, and it literally felt like it bogged down to 500 RPM, and then it came back up wide open. So I'll talk to Bryce and the boys about that, but I do think there is a starting issue when it is cold, and only cold. As you can see, it fired right off. I took it out for a 70-mile cruise on Saturday. Like nobody's business, wide open. The only issue I had was this guy right here. I saw that needle on the left in the discharge, and I want to be my alternator was, I've owned this car 19 years, so it's been a 15-year-old alternator. Just said go home and go buy you a new one. So I went to O'Reilly's and did the old swaparoo, and that's what I did. Some of my settings I have right now, I'm just gonna let you look at some of the numbers jiving there, if you can see them. And I had to use this because that little pedal thing is jacked. This thing is junk. It doesn't like to, it'll work when it wants to. How about that? Runs cool. I haven't been over 170, and like 170 is my number, this car anyway. So AFRSA old cars, 14.5 is a good number to go with. Right now it's running kind of fat, but they need that. This is an old LA motor, 414. Some of my digits, I'll just run through them. I hope you can see them okay. I could probably mess with my IAC a little bit. 3 to 10? I'm bouncing a little low. It's almost warmed up, so whatever. I'll probably mess with it on this thing. There's my battery. It seems to be charging decent. Timer. What I have had is a few faults. Today I had a map sensor fault. I cleared it and it's running okay. Not sure why it's doing that, but either way, that's it. That's what I got going on. I've been doing some of this log on, just data logging, and seeing if I could see some numbers. I'm going to pull it up and send it to Bryce and the boys and let them analyze it and see what they can say and do for me. But I'm pretty happy with it. It's not a bad little system. It's not that over there. There's a 4-barrel on that sumbitch. And it's gonna get this. It's gonna get a 6-pack Vitec setup. Here in Oklahoma City, our field elevation is around 1291, so it's not too crazy high elevation. It works. Bottom line is, hey, make sure your system is good. Outside of a couple little oil leaks from like 20 plus years of building this motor, it's good. The Phytech system to me is like money in the bank. It's like driving a brand new car with fuel injection under the hood. I wanted to keep the stock look. That's why I went with this system, a throttle body system. I didn't want to see injectors sticking in the side of the intake. I want people to be poking around wondering what's going on. They see that fuel gauge and they wonder, well, there's something going on there, and let them keep guessing. So anyhow, that's it. If you're in Oklahoma City, check out Southern Plains MoparFest.com. It's our big Mopar show. It's happening at Thunder Valley Raceway, where all the street outlaws in Oklahoma City race. They'll be down there. There may be a couple, Doc and maybe even an Asian with his Jeep. I'll be down there. We're gonna have I'll have 3 cars down there, and this car will definitely be there. I'd love to talk to anybody about the system. Installing it was the easiest part. Once you get it installed, it's there. Start off with new shit. Start off with new wires. This old coil, the ignition coil, is probably 20 years old, so I'm guessing it may shit the bed someday. But for now, it's working. Get your adjustments where you need to on the fitment of the system. And then once you get it in there, it's like in there like swimwear. That's it, man. I'm done, bud. You guys have a fantastic day. I hope I could talk to more folks out there. If you're running a Ford, Dodge, or Chevy, this system will fit on all of your stuff. As long as it's got 3 2-barrel openings, stick it on there. Bryce, Jeremy, those 2 dudes are awesome. Their tech is getting awesome, and a lot of them now, so we have lots of opportunity to talk. I think the last time I talked to one of their guys, I was on the phone for an hour and a half with them. I had my headset on, and we were starting and turning off this son of a bitch 100 times to get it figured out. And honestly, it wasn't that many times. It was a lot less. But it's simple. It's easy to work on. Set it and forget it is my motto. I don't want to be under the hood, dialing in the timing, adjusting the damn carburetor. Flushing toilet bowl fuel is in my past. I got 2 more cars to put this system on. One on this one. This system's going to go on that car over there. Oh, my 70 Bird. And then I'm going to put a 2.4 setup. And I'll probably do a video follow-up on that. My friend, good buddy Mike Fitzgerald's got a 2.4 Phytech setup he bought used, but barely used. And we're putting it on a Hemi he's got. And we're going to work the bugs out of that. And then I'm going to put the same setup on a Ray Barton I've got on my convertible. So if you have any questions, Phytech, .com, Phytech, fuel injection, Bryce, the guys there, man, they're awesome. All right, I'm out, man. See you, bye.